Welcome back for another news of the day video. Here's the news we're going to have for today. There's the little board. You go ahead and pause and go, all right, and then there's the little timestamps in the bottom. All right, we all set? All right, so I got my pen, got my little notebook here. Let's go ahead and get things going. And yes, I've got a different background behind me because this is part of the reason that I was glad we were making the move. So I could have different backgrounds for different videos. And eventually that side of the room I'm going to have all set up too, so I can spin the camera the other way. And we can have different backgrounds. I prefer that. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and start with, if you want to avoid spoilers for what happened at the World Juniors, at the World Championships today, whether it's gold medal or silver and well, gold and silver and bronze. If you're worried about that, just go ahead and skip to the next timestamp at the bottom, and then I'll try not to mention the results after I'm done talking about this. So the gold medal game happens today, and Canadian fans aren't happy. And it's funny because we always hear this argument about referees when it comes to National Hockey League games. These refs aren't good. I hope these refs never call a game again. I don't think that there are very many referees that would meet the standards of the fans. I think that all officials would be out of work by about halfway through the season. And then you're relying on what? Fan opinion? So that wouldn't go well. But this game today, the gold medal game, it's a shame. There's a high stick that Canada tried to challenge, but because it was a 2-minute high stick, they weren't allowed. Then there was a goal that it looked like Finland challenged, but apparently Finland didn't, so they reviewed it without a Finland challenge. And it ends up being a mess. There was a 5-on-3 on that phantom high stick that wasn't actually a high stick by a Canadian player, which leads to a goal 5-on-3 for the Finns and a goal 5-on-4. The Canadians, with their goaltender pulled, they tie the game, they force overtime. And as Canadian fans on Twitter were saying before the overtime, the referees are going to get involved, and it's a power play goal that ends it. And so, again, the officiating in this game was not very good, and I'm saying that straight out. And I think that's a compliment to the NHL. The NHL's officiating, I still think, is the best officiating. And I think if you had NHL officials at the Worlds and doing the World Championship game, especially in the gold medal game, I think you'd see a different game. Now, the rules are different in the IIHF than they are in the NHL. And rules of what you can and can't challenge are different from one to the other. So the gold medal game, and the other thing that overshadows it is that Chris Drieger hurts himself, pulls himself out of the game, and Matt Tompkins goes in instead as the backup. I was surprised that Logan Thompson was the number 3, that Logan Thompson wasn't the backup. And so Tompkins ends up allowing the game-winning goal in overtime on the power play. And so Finland wins gold. Finland has become an absolute beast on the international stage. Olympics, World Juniors, World Championships, they know how to win. And I think a big part of it, especially at the World Championships, is this tournament is much more important to the European countries than it is to Canada or the US. We are watching the Stanley Cup playoffs. We are not nearly as interested in the World Championships. And the opposite is true for many in Europe, where, yeah, the Stanley Cup's fun, but it's on in the middle of the night for them, so they get to watch the World Championships, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So Canada with a good comeback. They end up losing, though, 4-3 in overtime. And Czechia, or Czech Republic, whatever you'd like to call it, I've seen it called both. The Czech Republic, Czechia, end up winning the bronze medal. Pasternak ends up with a hat trick in a game that's an 8-4 win over the Americans for the Czech Republic. So bronze, they win. The one team that loses and gets a medal is your silver medalist. So Canada not looking happy. Matthew Barzal, who had 3 assists in the game, played absolutely great. Didn't look very happy after the game either. But I mean, again, it's as close to a best-on-best tournament as we get at this stage. Obviously, at the Olympics, the NHL didn't go over, so we didn't see best-on-best. We need a World Cup. We need a World Cup of hockey, even though that's going to end up being different than a World Championship. And I don't think that it would get anywhere near the accolades and the attention in Europe, unless the Finns won that. And if the Finns won that, then that'd get a lot of attention. So congratulations to Finland. No problem with the players. I mean, it's not like they're going to turn down a power play. You can't. And so, yeah, all the best to them. Grenland had a big game, and Mannanen ends up getting the overtime winner. So there you go. Finland wins. All right, moving on. I'm not going to spoil it. Okay, anybody who skipped ahead, don't spoil it, Shannon. So Brad Marchand's out 6 months. He had surgery on both hips. So 2 surgeries. that would explain why he was having so much trouble scoring goals late in the season. And in the playoffs, it got a little bit better, but he's still, the goal scoring, not where we were seeing it early in the season. So the concern, of course, when you're starting to deal with a player in their 30s having hip surgery, so how bad could this get, kind of thing? Like how much is this going to affect things for him going for? Is it something that could come back later? Is it just it's all cleared up now and we're good? We'll find out, right? I don't expect any level of pity from fans who aren't Boston fans when it comes to Marchand needing double hip surgery. But it is interesting because you watch, and I mean, I've watched hockey for a long time, and as players get older, you get broken down, you get banged up, and there's never any way of knowing which players are going to end up being out and being on LTIR and looking at their careers being done. So I'm hoping everything's okay with Marchand. Both hips get better, and there you go. And I did notice that Tom Wilson and Marchand, it's within a couple of days of each other, and there's going to be a lot of discussions in the comments about karma this and karma that, but it's random in terms of who gets hurt and what kind of injuries they're dealing with, right? Okay, now I've already done a video on it today, but I'll mention it here. Jason Spezza announcing his retirement from the Toronto Maple Leafs. He will be an assistant to the general manager. That's the phrasing they used. I know it's the Dwight Schrute thing. I didn't mention it in the career video, but it's the first thing I thought was he's an assistant to the general manager. Jason Spezza is retired to become Dwight Schrute. I think that's a smart move on his part. I think that the Dwight Schrute job is one that most of us wouldn't mind having. And so there he is. So all the best to Jason Spezza in retirement. As I said in the career video today, very good, long career for him. And I thought he did quite well in Toronto with the ice time that he had, with the opportunities he was given. And he never complained. He never complained when he was put on waivers. He understood why. He made sure that every other team in the league knew, if you pick me up, I'm retiring. And he meant it. So, all the best to Spezza. Honestly, good, nice, long career. And as I said, I already did the career video. Go check it out. I do enjoy doing the career videos at this time of year for players who have moved on. Next on the list is Barry Trotz. Elliot Friedman reporting Trotz is in no hurry. He's let teams know, I'm going to take my time. Here's how I see it. You have very few times in your life where you're going to be given multiple job offers. And obviously there's a time frame where those job offers might expire. But for Trotz, at this stage of his career, he's got multiple teams looking to bring him in, multiple teams looking at adding him as their coach. Why not take your time? Do your due diligence. Think it over. Talk it over with your family. Talk it over with friends. And figure out which makes the most sense, because this might be your last chance to coach in the NHL for a new team. And this might be his last go around. We never know, and he might want to make the exact right decision for himself, for his family, and the one that makes the most sense. And whether he goes after the biggest challenge, or where he thinks he has the best chance to win the Stanley Cup, or maybe both of those are the same thing, we'll find out. But all the best to Trotz. There's no reason to rush into another job at this point. And just having multiple offers probably feels pretty good. Having multiple teams interested has to feel pretty darn good after you get fired out of a job and a general manager saying they need a new voice. It's got to feel pretty good knowing that your voice is wanted elsewhere. So kudos to him. And I don't think there are very many fan bases that wouldn't want to see Barry Trotz behind the bench of their team. And last up, Chris Tanev. So we knew Tanev wasn't well. We knew Tanev wasn't right. If you watch that series, you would notice that when he was in the lineup, the Oilers were hitting him a lot. There was a lot of hits on Tanev going on. And so what it's turned out that it is, he dislocated his shoulder in Game 6 against Dallas. So the fact that he came back and played shows what a warrior he is. He's going to have shoulder surgery. He is due to be out 4 to 6 months. So in the case of Marchand and in the case of Tanev might be ready for training camp if it's on the 4-month end of it. If it's 6 months, he won't be ready for training camp for the start of the season. Marchand obviously would miss the start of the season with a 6-month time frame. But again, Tanev is a warrior. I know he misses a lot of games, or he missed a lot of games in Vancouver when he played in Vancouver, because he blocked every puck. And he didn't care if he was losing teeth. He didn't care how many times the puck smashed him in the face or in the ankle or whatever. If he could skate, he could play. And so I have nothing but respect for Chris Tanev. All the best to him in his recovery. and I would welcome him on any team I cheer for at any time. I would say Tanev at 80% is better than a lot of other defensemen at 100%, and so all the best to him. So, that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding any of these items. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.